Do you watch shows or play video games with violence in them? Then obviously you're a violent person, right? You're gonna go outside, commit violent crime, break the law. But wait, what's this? You're not? But the news told me you're watching a violent movie or playing a video game will make you violent. Not exactly, but people believe that in the idea that seeing something violent or doing something violent in a simulation, like a movie or a video game, will make you violent and do something bad in real life. Of course, the idea of a movie or a show making you violent isn't as prevalent in society nearly as much anymore. The idea that doing something violent in a video game, like a simulation or something, is still a thing. And, depending on how your mental stability is, if someone might not be as fast mentally as someone else, maybe it will have an effect. That's why they have ratings on games, and if someone's not able to, keep up with the rating on that game, maybe they shouldn't get it. But the idea that it makes just the regular, average Joe Schmo a violent person isn't exactly as real as you think it is. Of course, when you think about it, the idea of doing something violent in a game, making you do something violent in real life, does seem like it would make sense. But when you look at the charts, it doesn't. What charts am I talking about? The first chart, when you think about it, what charts would you have to put together that have the statistics to show whether it makes you violent or not? If you take the first one being the the general violence in the world, like crimes being committed that are violent, it's been going down a lot since, say the 1950s. But when you look at the consumption of media and video games, it is going up pretty quickly. So you see that they have two contrasting things. But when you think about it this way, a lot of murderers who are younger do tend to play video games. But you could say the same thing about every average young person also plays video games. They all wear pants, they all wear socks. Same difference. The same thing happened generally back in the day when books first started appearing. People were like, oh no, books are taking over. They're going to make kids stop working in the fields and stuff. They're just going to be busy all day reading books, writing books. But now books are a good thing. You should read, and it's good to read. It's good for your brain. It's good for taking in information and using it, and also knowing how to, read. And video games don't help you nearly as much, but then again, think about it this way, they're a source of entertainment, and so are shows. They're just for fun. You can watch a really good show, but what did you gain out of it? You can read a really good book, and you might gain more out of it, but you won't gain that much. You play a really good game, you're not going to gain much out of it. It's entertainment, that's the point. But people like the idea of something new that comes out has to be violent. But is it? Even if it is, but does it make you violent? No. Even if it did? Well, if it did, then yeah, they would be bad. And they would have been stopped a long time ago. But they are not. They don't make you violent. They may have violence in them, but it doesn't make you want to do the violence. Just because I play a game that has a guy who shoots a gun at someone, doesn't mean I want to go outside and shoot someone with a gun myself. It's just, I don't like committing murder. But in a game, because I know it's fake, I don't mind it. Of course, if there's a child who's 6 and they play a game like that, they might not know the difference, because younger children don't really know the difference between the fantasy and real life sometimes. So that might be a big mixed bag. You don't want to. It's why games have ratings on them. There's the E+ for kids, and then there's the R for mature, M for mature, not R for mature. Jeez, this isn't movies. You know what I mean. Games and media, like shows and stuff, may have violence in them, but they won't make you a violent person in real. People try to make you think it makes you violent in real life, but when you really think about it, and you look at the research and you look at the statistics of the crime rate going down and the video game consumption rate going up, you see, no, it clearly doesn't. There's might be some correlations, but there's no causation. Two different things. Correlations when something might relate, might be like maybe the criminal plays the game, but did the game cause them to do the violent crime? And whenever it was investigated, it didn't. The game did not cause them to do the crime. The game doesn't present a motivation to do a crime. Almost every game doesn't. Of course, there might be some games that do out there. I don't know. There's so many games out there. I don't play every single game on Earth. But just because the game has violence in it doesn't mean it's going to make someone do something violent, unless they have like some mental instability or they're a young child. Generally, a game will not make the average person a violent person because it doesn't have the means to do so. It can't make you violent. It can't change your perception of the idea of doing something violent. It may make you more resilient to seeing violence, but it's not going to make you a violent person because you're not actively doing something to hurt someone in real life. Thank you for listening to this stuff.